Coach DeCarlo again. This is a part of the 30-day mental diet. Today we're going to talk about making the universe your bleep. And that bleep, you can fill in the word for bleep. But why are we saying this? Many of you wonder why you're not manifesting the type of life that you desire. And you say, well, this stuff doesn't work. And I say, day after day, week after week, it is working. I was speaking to someone recently. She's from the island. She said that her grandmother, while on the island, she was doing a very successful business, and a jealous competitor said, as you rise to greatness, get ready for your fall. And I'm paraphrasing what was said, but the whole point was, when you start doing good, bad things happen. We have so many belief systems such as that. My granddaughter and I were talking this evening, and she says, do you believe that the American dream is over? I said, well, what is the American dream? And so she started giving me a list of scenarios what the American dream was. And then she gave me a list of people found themselves disenfranchised and downsized, unemployment and things like that. And I said, listen, that's life. These are life events. And so how do we take life events and make them our bleep? And so we're going to talk about that. And first and foremost, when I was talking to the young lady, I said, it's very difficult to hear something like that as a child and not take ownership of that belief. And the belief was, when things are going great, look out because something bad's about to happen. Is that your belief system? And if you understand that that is your belief system, you have an opportunity to change it. And like I've stated before, we have a whole bunch of belief systems that we don't even recognize that we have. And then we wonder why we're trying to manifest certain things and we fail to manifest those things. And a lot of times we have to look back at our belief system. And so if you want to make the universe your bleep, you want to control the universe, it says, as you think you are, be it unto you according to your faith. When you understand these principles of mind, and it says, be in the world, but not of the world. Now, what does that mean, to be in the world, but not of the world? Is to occupy and live in this world, but not have the world's mindset. If you believe that your life is dictated or controlled by the things without, then be it unto you according to your faith. If you believe that every time something good happens in your life, that something bad's going to happen, then the universe says, be it unto you according to your faith. So what we discover is the only thing that we really need to do is change our belief system. Now, I'm not saying initially that's easy, but first and foremost, as we identify those belief systems, then we can bring about the necessary change. Many of us, like I stated, we're unaware that these belief systems are even a part of us. We just think this is just the way the world is and life is hard. So, as Henry Ford says, if you believe a thing or you don't believe a thing, either way, you're correct. So if we begin to shift our belief system, and I'm not saying it's easy because many of us have been indoctrinated since birth with these belief systems, but we can create new belief systems. And I only know that because that's what I had to do. I had to look at my upbringing. I had to look at so many things that basically kept me bound, kept me trapped in my past. And as Mr. Lindo often will state, he knows people 90, 100 years old still being raised by their parents. What does that mean? You're still being raised by your parents' mindset, and their parents' mindset, and their parents' mindset. And it kind of makes me think about a story that I heard years ago. A family was at a Thanksgiving dinner, and the mother had cut both ends of the ham off. And so one of the daughters said, Mom, why are you cutting the ends of the ham off? She said, I don't know. Your grandmother always did it that way, so I did it that way. And so she said, well, let's call your grandmother and find out why she cut both of the ends of the ham off. And so she called her mother and she said, Mom, why is it that you used to cut the ends of the ham off? She said, baby, it was just a tradition for us. And so your grandmother did it. And so I did it. She said, well, let's call great grandmother and find out why she cut the ends of the ham off. And so they got great grandmother on a three-way. And so they said, great grandmother, why is it that you cut the ends of the ham off? She said, well, listen, when my kids were growing up, we didn't have a pot big enough. So what we had to do to make the ham fit into the pot, we had to cut both ends of the ham off so that it would fit into the pot. You get the point. Many of us are raised by outdated belief systems, and we're wondering why we're not living the life, the American dream, whatever that dream is for you. You're not living that dream because you're being dictated by your previous thoughts that this is impossible, that nobody does this. You put limitations on yourself based on other people's opinions. You must find out what's true for you. And that's why we tell you week after week, don't believe it because we say it or anyone else says it. Believe it because you've tested these principles for yourself and you discovered that they work. It's not enough to regurgitate someone else's words and talk about someone else's principles if you're not practicing the principles, because see, there's no power apart from the practice. And I know that many of us don't want to do the work. We just want to go into the silence and things be manifested and voila, and our life has changed. But there's a process, even in going into the silence, there's a process that we have to occupy that new state, that new identity. And until we do that, life change is going to be temporary at best. You can't do this by force of the willpower. This has to become a part of who you are. You can be a very powerful creator. You can make the universe your bleep. And you do this by controlling your thinking, being mindful of what it is that you're thinking. Begin to live according to what it is that you desire. Mr. Linder will often say, attitude awareness and imaginational control. What is your attitude? If you have an attitude that's not conducive to what it is you're trying to manifest, then maybe you need to consider changing that attitude. What is it that you're giving your attention to? What is your imaginational control? What are you focused on morning, noon, and night? If it's not conducive to what it is that you're trying to manifest in your life, then you're not going to make the universe your bleep. The universe is going to make you its bleep, and you're going to be dictated by the dictates of the things going on the without. And this goes back to the scriptures. Be in the world, but not of the world. Don't let the world dictate to you who it is that you're to be. Decide, creator, who it is that you will be. Begin living from that end and control your thinking by using attitude awareness and imaginational control. And when you begin doing that, as Mr. Linder will often say, can you think your next thought? As you consistently, persistently begin to think your next thought purposefully, what you're going to discover is that you've made the universe your bleep. And you're going to find that you're living a more empowered life. Now, let me say this before closing. This doesn't mean that you don't encounter challenges. You're going to encounter challenges. I sometimes get a little frustrated by those people who teach these principles that tell you that once you practice these principles, or give you the impression that once you practice these principles, that you don't have any challenges in your life. And so many of you believe that you're doing something wrong. No, that's just life happening. But what you have as you listen to these programs is the tools so when life happens that you can think according to your desired end. Don't look at, just what's going on without. And understand this. Your Bill Gates, your Steve Jobs, your Warren Buffetts, they all face challenges, but that did not stop them from pursuing their desired end. Neville Goddard had challenges. Joseph Murphy had challenges. Everyone faces challenges. Don't think that's strange. Nobody's exempt from facing challenges. But the question is, who are you going to be in the midst of the challenge? And remember this, creators, that only you can create your perfect world. Not God or man. Only you can create your perfect world. This is Coach DeCarlo saying have a great and abundant day.